do you think he's happy? Do you think he wants to now be here long term?
I do think he's happy, and I think there's a reason he's happy. He's got incredible teammates. These guys are just amazing. The way they've taken him under their wing, the vets on our team, Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, Al, they're really taking good care of him and helping him understand how this league works.
Let's do it. Out to the River Islands guest line for Steve Kerr. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
We're doing good, and it's funny. We sat here. Dibbs and I were doing the pregame stuff last night, and our guys hit the breaking news sounder, and it was like Giannis is not going to play. And Dibbs and I looked at each other, and the first thing we said, "Oh boy." Steve has always told us he hates when that happens, when the star player on the other team is out, because it just creates a whole different dynamic around the game. So can you take us through when you found out and how that kind of changes things for you guys?
Well, we probably found out right when you found out. It was about an hour before the game, and somebody came in and told us that he was out, and so we immediately shifted into game plan mode. Who's probably going to start? How do we want to match up? All that stuff. And but every NBA coach feels this way. It's not just me. This is a league-wide thing where the star sits and there's somebody really talented behind that guy who can't wait to get out and nothing to lose, let it fly. And these games are always difficult. And that game was already going to be difficult. Traveling across the country, playing the next day, 6 game in 10 nights. So my guard was up regardless. But as soon as he went out, it actually felt worse in a weird way.
Which becomes the bigger factor, Milwaukee getting up or the Warriors letting down a little?
Well, you always prepare your players for, these potential letdowns. And so you talk about it, and I don't think we had a letdown personally. I think, honestly, we just weren't sharp, and Milwaukee played a phenomenal game. They made 19 threes. They made some insane shots, down the stretch to close the game out. Sometimes you just have to credit your opponent, and I'm really proud of our guys, to start out the season with this schedule. I mean, it's been a crazy schedule to start the season. To start out the way we have, you're not going to be at your sharpest every single night. And last night was one of those nights where we just didn't quite have it. But you tip your hat to your opponent because they made a ton of shots and played hard and played better than we did.
Yeah, Steve, it's been a little bit of a brisk pace, right? I think you're only one of 3 teams that has already played 6 games on the schedule. That said, I wonder how you would respond to that idea, because I think fans going into this season are mindful of the age of your team. So when the whole idea of fatigue comes up this quickly into a season, some are just quick to jump and go, see, here we go. So how do you kind of respond to that issue this early in the year?
Yeah, I think, when I'm talking about fatigue after the game, it has nothing to do with our age. It has to do with the schedule. 6 games in 10 nights to start the season. Your team is not in game shape on opening night. It's just not the way it works, because you're not going to play guys 35 minutes in the preseason multiple times. So it always takes a couple weeks for your 35-minute-a-night guys to, get their feet underneath them, get their legs underneath them, and get into the groove of the season. So I think for our fans who are, worried about the age, to me this is more just about starting out the long season, without much of a break in 4 different cities and 6 games in 10 days. It's a lot for any team, regardless of age. So we'll get our legs underneath us. Every team has to go through difficult schedule stretches. We happen to be in the midst of one. This next 9 games is pretty rough. So we've got to find our way through, just like every other team has to find their way through.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you got that 6-game trip in 5 cities coming up in about 10 days. So, yeah, tough now and then tough again later. Do you try to mitigate what you're describing, Steve, with a little bit of a deeper bench to start the year? That way you can kind of get more players up to speed in the early 10 games of the year?
Yes, and that's why you see me playing so many guys. I've gone 12 deep in several of the games so far, and that's good and bad. On the bright side, guys are getting minutes, and hopefully you're not overloading, your main guys. But at the same time, it's tougher for guys to settle into roles, and I'm cognizant of that. Moses only played about 10 minutes last night, and I wanted to get him out there more, but I'm searching because we're not playing well. I'm searching for different combinations, and so there's some give and take in all of that. And but we'll find our groove. We'll find a consistent rotation. And like I said, I'm really pleased with the 4-2 start. Last night was disappointing, but at the same time, this is the NBA, and you got talented guys over there, regardless of who's playing, and some of the shot making from Milwaukee last night, combined with our turnovers, 22 turnovers against a team that really wasn't putting any pressure on us. They deserve to win, so you give them credit.
Steve, I'd love to ask you a few Jonathan questions, because I got to think that the biggest storyline so far is the way he's playing. And Steve, I'll tell you, my favorite thing is not even just the way he's playing, but what I hear him saying after the games, where he really talked about everything that he focused on this offseason. He said he's grown. I'd love to hear from you. Why do you think, whatever the message has been through the years, why is it all clicking on the court now?
Well, every player sort of progresses at a different rate, and every player has a different level of experience. There's all kinds of factors that play into this. And, I guess, from my vantage point, it's, JK is now the age of, guys like Jimmy and Steph and Draymond when they came into the league, and that's not really an exaggeration. Maybe it is by 6 months or so, but, he just turned 23. And the 1 year that he played in the G League was not even really a real year. It was the COVID G League bubble in Orlando. I think he played 8 or 9 games. So, you look at JK's youth, his the fact that he picked up the sport late. He came to a championship team that didn't have minutes for him, and it's never a linear path. We know that. The thing I'm really happy about is just his maturity, his growth. Our conversations have been great. He really seems to be embracing the role we're asking of him. The rebounding and guarding the ball, and figuring out how to play next to Jimmy and Draymond. It's been wonderful to see, and I'm thrilled for JK.
Steve, I think one thing that's really bouncing around in fans' heads right now is because coming out of the summer and listening to his agent talk and all of these things, there was really the thought that Jonathan wanted to go somewhere where he could play a lot, score more points, what have you. Watching him play through these first 6 games, he's not only playing well, but he looks to the eye like he's happy. Do you think he's happy? Do you think he wants to now be here long term?
I do think he's happy, and I think there's a reason he's happy. He's got incredible teammates. These guys are just amazing. The way they've taken him under their wing, the vets on our team, Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, Al, they're really taking good care of him and helping him understand how this league works and embracing him. And obviously, it's not just because they're great guys. They see his potential, and they want to be a great team, and they know that Jonathan can play a big role in that, which he has in the early going. So this is a good place to be. I mean, every player wants opportunity. Every player wants to really be able to, blossom and play the game he wants to play. And so JK is no different. I just think that with the way our team is structured and with the way he has approached this year, he's taken advantage of the opportunity, and he's doing the things that we've wanted him to do in the past, but maybe he wasn't, quite as aware or capable, but he sure seems in tune with all those things now, and it's just been fun to watch.
To that end, have you and the other coaches on the staff changed the way you've gone about coaching him or communicating with him, or is it just he came back, contract is settled, and now he's taking off with what you've already been telling him for years?
No, there's no there's no change in the way we've approached anything. It's always a group effort with our staff. We have a lot of people who work closely with JK and give him support. And I just think the totality of that effort over the last few years, it's paying off, as is JK's persistence and his awareness of the things he needs to do to help us. And like I said, this is not easy. The NBA is a really difficult league, and everything is about winning. And there's a lot of young players who take some time to figure it out and to grow and to get where they need to be. But every player has a little different path, so it's just the way it is.